Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, it's back with Watcher 55, and it seems it goes really a lot around into the streams, into the media about Emiru, between Emiru and Mizkif, what the situation actually happened and what actually was going on. So the war chief wants also to get into it a little bit, together to discuss it, to see what's going on actually. She is actually a really good streamer in my opinion. I saw her a few times. Um, she looks a nice girl, to be honest. Let's give a look
He was
what
like,
you're
go
talking
finish your
about.
stream so that people don't know anything's wrong. And
That's what matters.
I stop in the bathroom outside
Of
my
course.
stream room, and I'm like, checking my makeup, trying to make sure people can't tell that I was like crying. And
That's
I'm
sad.
only in there for like 30 seconds, and he comes and like looms in the doorway. He's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm just checking my makeup." So I go back and I stream for a couple hours, finish the stream, do my best to just like carry on the show basically. And yeah, after that, like I said, was
Sad
when
expecting
things started
drama
to get
shit?
really
Yeah.
fucking bad. It was like something just snapped. For the rest of the week, he streamed the Rust event. He got all the drop viewers.
She didn't
I'm
stream
sure
at all.
he was very happy. I mean, good for him.
Wow.
And during that time, I obviously was like thinking and processing a lot of what happened. But I mean, it was a lot because this person was at the time like kind of it was like my partner and my best friend and like the only person that like I really talked to ever,
That's true.
like at least off stream. So I mean, it was a lot. But the very next stream, I went live about a week after that, and I announced that I was planning to move because I knew that I would have to move.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, I have to go live and say this so that, kind of force myself to commit to it.
I always say it as definitely also as a war chief. If you have an abusive relationship, and I actually helped a few people in the past with this, the best way to do it is actually to leave. Do not stay in that chaos. It's just gonna get worse. It's just gonna get worse. It's best to take distance and move forward. Now, of course, it's not immediately easy, but that's definitely a good step. What she is
Right?
doing.
Does that make sense? Obviously, I didn't move out right away, but after like all of that Rust stuff happened was when the other domestic abuse stuff really started. He would destroy furniture in front of me. He would throw things in front of me and near me. Destroy
bad.
walls. Again, you can go see this in some of his VODs in his bedroom. The holes in the wall. There would be times where he was upset at me, and I would go to my stream room and literally lock myself in to get away from him, and he would be banging on the door and screaming at me. And at the time, he also would more often.
You can actually see she's not feeling comfortable. It really hurts her. You can actually see it on her breathing. Another thing that I definitely want to say is, hitting the wall and all that stuff is not helping you, or just making it worse. Definitely for her, she trusts him, she loves him in this situation, and in that situation, in that time, of course. And how he actually react on it. I'm definitely against the people that abuse or going hectic in that situation. If it's not working, just move forward, take distance. That's the best that you can do. If you cannot talk to each other and it's not working, that's it. It's all waste of energy, mental. I think she's now a little bit in mental abuse included. So it's not only from the inside that she's hurt actually, but it seems also a bit mental abuse with it.
Do things like going, if we were driving in the car together, he would be going like
Super fast.
150 miles an hour And
That's
like
crazy.
one time he even said like, well, now we're both gonna die, like threatening to kill both of us. And this wasn't like even necessarily because of me or like because of something I did a lot of the time. Like one of the times that it happened, it was because we were just getting food and he was on his phone and he saw that Mr. Beast had put out a video and Mr. Beast had invited another streamer and he was like, oh, Mr. Beast invited this guy to his video, not me. And I was like, oh, well, like, huh? Yeah, I guess so. Which led to him
Almost killing them.
miles per hour in the car.
Almost killing them.
Killing himself while doing it.
Over a
crazy.
Mr. Beast video.
This is crazy. This is
then at
definitely
home-
crazy.
Other things would happen, like
he
I'd be
needs
trying
a
to sleep
doctor.
and he would scream at me and say that it was all my fault that he felt insecure. There was a time that I walked into a room that he was in, and as soon as he saw me there, he threw his phone at the dresser and started yelling because I had posted a YouTube video within the same couple of days as him, and mine was doing better. So basically, I felt like I was.
I think this is actually really, if you use your EQ with this, I think a lot of guys, it is actually a bit a dream of the most guys that your girlfriend is actually also gaming or also interacting in that content. I think it's much smarter to work together actually. It doesn't matter if she has more viewers than you are together. It makes no sense, if you are together, it doesn't matter, you know what I mean? That you should not compare with your girlfriends, if you understand me. Compare with another streamer, you know what I mean? But don't compare with your own girlfriend. That makes definitely no sense, you know what I mean?
kind of
EQ level.
stuck
It's
in a loop
It's so
where I
sad,
felt like
bro.
I had to constantly
It's so sad.
perform and like prove
it's so
my
sad.
value to not be thrown away. But at the same time, if I ever performed too well, I was gonna be punished for it.
Yeah.
And it just felt like a very rough situation to be stuck in because, I mean, streaming is my hobby and my job. Like, it's a huge part of my life.
All of our
Even
friends are
before,
attached to it too.
You know, I met him and became like a larger creator. And I remember thinking all the time how it felt like he hated me, but he still wanted me around for his channel and like his thumbnails and everything.
Yeah.
This is totally understandable. If a person starts yelling, breaking stuff, going all the time against you, yeah, that gives even your partner in that situation in love, it gives a feeling that you're hating it, you know what I mean? So everything that he's actually doing is actually more showing that hate instead of working together and if I'm putting myself now in his place. If it was me, I was gonna support her and being happy, you know what I mean, and actually making together content and making some plans together. Instead, he's actually doing the opposite. That makes totally no sense in this situation.
And this is still before I moved out. There was a time where it was the tension in the house was so unbearable that I would sneak out and I would sneak into Esfan's house using my code. And Esfan didn't know why I was doing this. He saw me a couple times. I'd be like, oh, I'm just gonna go take a nap in your guest room. He'd be like, yeah, that's fine. I would sneak into Esfan's house just to have some time of like peace and quiet.
Too much.
But eventually, he
Chaos.
figured out where I was going, and he would go over to Esfan's house to keep telling me off.
No escape.
And there was a time that he did it, and I was laying in the guest room bed, and one of the roommates in that house had come to see like why I was crying, and they were standing in the corner. And he came in, and he was very physically aggressive. He was like, Emmy, like, what are you doing? Like, angry.
She
and
wrote,
then as soon as he turned and saw this other person
is really
standing
serious,
there,
yeah.
he instantly, like, deflated and changed his tone. He was like, "Oh, Emmy, I was wondering where you were. Like, are you coming home?" And that
Because of the
roommate, like,
friends.
later asked me about it. And they were like, "What the fuck was that? Like, are you okay?" And I was just like, "Oh, it's nothing," because
Unfortunately,
I felt like
happened a lot.
I don't like
a
people.
lot of
like,
the reason
like
that I
them.
didn't tell the people around me was because I felt like no one would understand, or even if they understood, it would just be a burden to them because all of our streams and social circles and communities are so intertwined. I was like, maybe it's just better for me to deal with this and like hope things get better, basically.
Yep.
I honestly don't even remember what the final straw was that I finally was like, okay, it's time to go. Like, I
Let's go a
prepared.
little bit forward.
I was still sobbing a lot. And I was playing Warrior in World of Warcraft in like a level 24 dungeon.
Good game.
It was like Silverpine. Like, it was just like, it wasn't even like,
You
was
can't
like
just
dog shit
tank
gameplay, to be
SFK.
honest.
You can't just tank SFK. You can't just do that.
so, yeah.
Wait a sec, did he go angry because she was the tank?
There it
I'm in the
is.
middle of a dungeon,
Wait a
Don't
sec.
dude
trying
me.
to just play the fucking game.
Wait a second.
This is about World of Warcraft.
Esmond built his little.
Let me handle all the hate.
Oh fuck, I think I...
You just have fun.
That's crazy.
Such a serious situation. I feel like an asshole laughing, but this is so fucking ridiculous. It's insane, isn't it? Oh my god.
Tank Emmy, do it. Let me handle all the hate, the criticism, the you're worse than Emmys. The Emmy is so much better. The people saying you're better in every chat. The comparisons
no
says
ba-
nobody will ever be on my side.
He says
Let me
there's
deal
no
with it. You have
boundaries
fun.
with
I
you.
asked you not to become a tank. You didn't listen. And now it's the classic, what was I supposed to do?
He's jealous
I'm not
from her.
dealing with this. And like I said, you can go find the stream.
That's what he said.
But for context, I was playing Warrior in World of Warcraft in like a level 24 dungeon. It was like Silverpine. Like, it was just like, it wasn't
No
even
level
like,
dungeons. There's
You
no
can't
level
just
Dog
tank
shit
dungeons.
gameplay, to be
SFK.
honest.
You can't just tank SFK. You can't just do that.
so, yeah.
That's a bit crazy. I can understand at one point, like if you are not really good with a tank and you go for a trial or really a tough dungeon that you maybe could have a small discussion about it, you know. But first of all, it's a level 24 dungeon. I don't see any problem with it. That's a bit ridiculous that he reacts like this. That's really a lot of jealousy against her, you know? Strange.
Yeah, yeah, you can,
Just pause it, read
look
all
at
that
that
shit
later, I
yourself.
suppose.
Yeah.
If,
Let's go a bit further.
Well, things like him saying he was worried about things or saying no one was talking to him, which I don't think was even true at the time. I think he was just saying that to try to guilt me into responding to him. I'm not sure about that, of course. This also extended to in-person interactions because initially I made the mistake of thinking that I only had to cut him off through private communication and, you know, we would be fine going
Yeah.
to the same events and parties and such.
Big mistake.
I also had to start...
That's not gonna
Hold on,
happen.
I'm still fucking sick.
I always say the best thing is block distance. Seeing each other, because you have some people that say this, to be fair, and that's not true. That's not possible. Okay, the ones that say this are dreaming or making fairy tales. You know what I mean? Being a friend with an ex or you know seeing the ex is definitely a no. Distance from each other and move on. You know what I mean? Move on.
But it took me a bit longer to get up there because someone like stopped me and was talking to me. And I did feel like, I mean, he was like standing pretty close to that person. I felt like he was watching me, but again, I thought I was just being paranoid. But I I went upstairs. I was hanging out with Nick and Catchy and, our other friends. And then about 30 minutes later, the room that we're in, the door opens. It's Miz. He opens the door, makes eye contact with me, goes, ooh, and then closes the door and leaves. And I was like,
See?
What the fuck?
Wow.
But again, I was still trying my best to, give the benefit of the doubt. Like, maybe it's just like
That's the only
awkward
word that you could
situation
say.
or something.
Crazy.
But a couple months later, the person that he was hanging out with that night reached out to me privately and was apologizing. And I was like, why? And they're like, I just felt like I had to apologize to you because I felt so bad and so embarrassed of what was going on. Like, yes, he wanted to see what you were doing. He was saying, like, I want to go see what's upstairs.
Let's go a bit
really
further.
watch my
You wanna
stream.
see what...
And not in a, like, oh, I wonder what Emmy's doing right now way, or, like, having my stream open. Like, he would be obsessively and attentively hate watching my stream. Like, watching my stream and just saying horrible things almost every time that I've been live this year. And they tell me that he would want to discuss how he believed I still wanted him.
Of course.
Interesting, considering I never replied. And he would ask other guys if they thought I had slept with anyone this year. They'd be like, I don't fucking know, man. And then they told me he would say stuff like, no, there's no way she's done that. She's not like that. And she's probably waiting for me. Just really fucking gross stuff like that.
Waiting for you. This guy sees all the things like opposite down, you know what I mean? The girl leaves you, she went out of your home, she had even to sneak outside from your home, you break stuff, you abuse her, definitely mentally hardcore. I think mental abuse is really hardcore, is very dangerous, as my opinion, but every abuse is actually really bad, there's no excuse on it. And still he thinks that she wants him. So that's this guy needs help. Huh?
And a couple of streamers in LA also told me that he was telling people that me and him still talk all the time, but we simply weren't together anymore.
All about appearances.
I was too mature, and I was not ready. I was too immature.
Emmy was too immature.
But
of course.
You couldn't see from the messages I showed.
I mean, she didn't even break a hole in a wall.
They're just acting cool in front of his
friends. Go back
friends.
and read them.
How can you be ready to be married if you're not ready to punch a hole in a wall?
Begging to me to take him back for the majority of this year, which was 7 or 8 months total. And like I said, some of those messages were even, I believe, ChatGPT. Not that it really matters. It's just interesting.
Very interesting.
As of today, it's been about 2 months since he has attempted to contact me directly. I think because about 2 months ago was when he started kind of getting scared that I might have been like, telling people things. Mm-hmm. Which again, I wasn't going on my way to do it, but if anyone ever asked me, I wasn't gonna lie to them. I mentioned this at the beginning before I started like fully telling the story. I heard from my friends, other streamers, and my employees that he had cooked up a plot that if I ever tried to talk about him, like about the abuse or anything else, he would try to go live and say that I killed my rabbits.
I have a story about this afterwards.
And I was told that he approached several streamers who are around us a lot.
He didn't
when
approach
we lived
me.
Together, and asked if they would basically back him up, and they refused.
Never approach me.
Obviously,
That's very
we're not
low,
insane.
man. That's very low.
Never talk to me about a single thing about this.
Even something happened this weekend at TwitchCon. One of my employees told me he went up to them and he threatened them, saying, if Emmy ever tries to talk about me, I will destroy her. Whatever that means.
Whatever that means.
That's the thing with they do those abusive people, They will try every way actually to try to get to the person, even from friends or to actually mental again. That's definitely mental abuse. manipulation included, to be honest. I think very low. You will. I always saw Mizkif also a few times his streams, and I didn't really like him so much. To be fair, it was always like something. I don't know. Something didn't fit right. You know.
I would have liked to spend my Saturday.
Oh, it's Saturday. That was like Wednesday.
I would have loved
It's
to
like me.
go to karaoke with my friends
It's a good idea.
or something like that instead. All people like karaoke.
She's
Right,
really
guys?
not okay. Also, you can see
Yeah.
it. She's really not okay.
Yeah.
The things that I want to say, what I mean, mental abuse. That's what you can see at this person right now. Huh? And to be honest, she's a nice girl every time, friendly. You can see her also in the stream. Even if you watch to her, she will not hurt a fly. You know what I mean? Abusing her so hardcore and mental, it's just been stupid. If you have a good goal, take good care about it. You know what I mean? And don't be like a psycho in this case. But let's give a look right now to what he responds. We want to see what he talks about.
There's some people that are saying some pretty crazy things. I haven't even gone on Twitter. I saw other things and I'm like, damn. But I've been around for 10 years now. A lot of you guys know, pretty far away from this stuff at this point. But I am totally okay with exposing a lot of things and saying things. At this point, I think it's pretty obvious I will not be friends with any of these people after this. Ludwig was right. I am going
We're friends to begin with, bro. That's why you're screenshotting and taking notes and trying to find blackmail on them to begin with.
He's trying to run away.
to completely separate myself from these people in this community, which is fine, and I've already been doing it, but I have hundreds of messages and DMs from people, things that people probably would never want to get released, that are very interesting for everyone, and
Sure,
I will...
I think he probably does. And if it's something bad that somebody said, and it's like actually matters, everything that we know about really that it's just bullshit. And so even if you believe that, it's because it did. Big surprise. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, that type of a double standard to be comfortable with you having all these had to.
Let him talk.
You're not going to say why, are you?
Let him talk.
Let's find out if he says why.
out or was known, I could get in a ton of trouble with OTK and cause a ton
That's
of problems.
exactly right. We would have been totally okay with it. He would have had to be able to do it. We could have just signed something. It would have been totally fine. It would have been no issue at all. He was more worried about his standing in OTK, and he was more worried about making sure that he didn't look bad and lose money in OTK, and that's the reason why he wanted to keep it private. So it wasn't even about her or about him. It was about money and his position in the org.
For the people that do not know OTK, that means Asmund, Gold, Ham. There are a few other guys also in it, and it's like a group of them in the same in the same content a little bit, in the same group. Let's say it like this, you know. And you work actually all in bits together, not 110%, but in bits together, and that's how they got contracts and much more, you know. But I don't know everything about it, to be fair, so I cannot say much.
And we would have never done that even. Of course I made my mind up.
Life. So I lied to all of my old friends, S-Band included, who lived just next door to me, and everyone in OTK, and that was very hard for me to do. We had a doggy door.
Basically that it's like a waiver that if a person that you're in a relationship with that has a supervisory role over you has something, that you waive a certain type of liability and types of recourse.
Nightmare. I was losing OTK, my mental health, and all my...
You weren't losing OTK. We put you on suspension, and we invested hundreds of thousands of dollars.
The thing also that I want to say, because he just said it right now, that he was losing his mental health. I think when you have mental health, do not start a relationship, you know. Be first healthy before you put those steps, you know, because there's a lot of responsibility, a lot of things that you need to know between each other. A lot of pressure, huh? It's not always Christmas, that's what I say, you know what I mean? I think every relationship has ups and downs, you know what I mean? But definitely if you have mental health issues, yeah, don't go for a relationship then.
Into legal fees in order to being violent in the process. like advantage of other people,
Well, shut up,
them.
man.
And we see this a lot.
Too much.
Really, misplaced empathy. This is misplaced empathy. If anybody,
well, he has a point. He has a point.
Once you do that, you're out of your mind.
And being that Emiru hung out with me all day,
literally zero sympathy. Zero sympathy, because I've had to deal with shit that's like way worse than this multiple times. Like, you can look at in terms
over time, since things were just so amazing that first year. But I'm so gay. But as we stayed around longer, I started resenting her a lot more. You can take it out of remote-only mode. Emiru has a lot of rabbits. It was her calling when she first moved in. These were a big part of her life. But as those rabbits moved out of her room and into the living room, they started to see disgusting neglect. No food, no water.
Which he lived in the house, by the way. He lived in the house this whole time. So he let this whole thing happen. Like, assuming all this is true, he let this...
Good point. What have the rabbits to do with this? You know what I mean? If I see it, you know, let's say your girlfriend is tired or something, and you see it, okay, the rabbits are not clean, or maybe it's not in a healthy position, you will do something about it. You don't need to blame it on her, you know what I mean? You're both together, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, it's your rabbits. It's not about the rabbits over here, man.
Completely neglected those rabbits. So much that many of them just died over 1 year of being around in my house. My cleaning ladies would clean them just because they felt terrible. And my brother once came over and said, and I quote, "If you ever marry this woman, I'll never forgive you." Here is a video up close of Emiru's rabbits. These are small little mites that are inside the rabbit.
It's not her rabbits. You're never going to see a single rabbit.
Actually, I had rabbits, War Chief Club members, in the past. My dad, we had actually a lot of rabbits. They lived actually in my garden, to be honest. More than 20, I think, more than 20. They are actually pretty cute,
If that's the case, she's got to make sure she's giving them water, because they are her responsibility. Instead, these rabbits were left outside in 100-degree heat with no food or water.
You're kidding.
From our stalkers? No, I mean, I don't know. Like,
that's an obvious thing right now. What we can see, that definitely he did abuse her. And what he's actually trying to do is finding some excuses or something to blame back to her, to feel better from himself. You know what I mean? Feeling bad, you can see that he also feels bad and that tears. He's feeling bad because he lost her, you know, because of the abuse, because he done those mistakes, you know. But he's not like from crying from, okay, I just lost her. He is actually crying also from, oh shit, I messed up. I'm here in the front line. In the media, and I need to explain all this, you know what I mean? So he's actually busted. That happens a lot also. An example, a person stole something. If you're not caught, then it's okay, you know, you feel good. But when the person gets caught, that's a different story. If you're standing there in front of the cop, then the tears show up, then those stuff show up. That's in his case right now.
See, I bet it was really stressful, but like,
I told her many things. I told her to dress older, to stop wearing pajamas, to stop talking about stalkers and schizos as a whole.
Why would you tell her to stop talking about stalkers and schizos as a whole whenever you went live and then you told a story that was her private story that wasn't public about stalkers and schizos?
Yeah, it must be
against
50-50.
her consent.
Must be 50-50. I just don't get it that you don't let her wear pajamas, you know what I mean? She's in her home, you know what I mean? I will have no problem with a girlfriend that puts pajamas on, you know what I mean? There's a big difference, I'm not going to lie over here, there's a big difference if you have a girlfriend and she really makes herself really sexy, almost, let's say almost naked, you know what I mean? Really putting the stuff a bit, you know, like getting more viewers about it, that's a different story. But if someone puts pajamas on, I don't see any problem with it, you know?
Yeah.
Move out on her own. I told her to move out.
This is
because
the passive language. Things got toxic.
I don't believe that he...
Extremely fucking toxic. I told her to move out.
I told her to move out. I don't believe it. I think she left him. I don't think that he's going to say, go out. No. There is a lot that we just heard from her story, from her side. You know what I mean? Included that he also admitted in a few stories that she told us in her side, you know, like that he showed up in that party, that he opened the door. He actually admitted that it happened. So I think, and definitely you can see it, that Emiru is actually telling everything as true. And that he is actually only taking a few things from it and saying about it, but the rest that he doesn't want to talk about. But we are not idiots. That means everything what Emiru is saying is actually true.
She didn't move out on her own. I told her to move out.
This is the past that he assaulted them.
I definitely do not believe him, and I do not believe that she moved out.
I understand. Listen, guys. I understand if you're a fan of.
Stalkers continued, and I got even more stressed.
I said it last time. People got mad. They said I was vague posting.
Yeah, the thing is, like stalkers, okay, block them. I don't think that's necessary. You need really to make a big discussion or go in chaos in that situation. I think definitely, like, you having girlfriends, and in his case, that he just says block the stalkers, and she will obviously do it. You know what I mean? It's stalkers. She doesn't like it as well. You know.
Being serious.
Each other. I knew this wouldn't last, but I didn't know how to get out of the relationship. She did not want to move out. As for me telling Cheddar to leave my house, he was swatting at Chompy constantly and making him bleed. I not only was the one that wanted her to move out first, I was the one that wanted the cat out of the house because he was attacking my cat. Every month went by the last year, and our fights started to get louder. We were breaking up with each other almost weekly. Fights were getting more aggressive, and shouting began to increase. I was not perfect, and I reflect on those situations poor taste to myself. I'm ashamed that the situations got so bad, but Emmy was also violent. She would throw clothes or plushies at me, and I punched holes in the walls or slammed doors in aggression.
Wait a second, did he just admit it?
I think
did not want to move out. As for me telling Cheddar to leave my house, he was swatting at Chompy constantly and making him bleed. I not only was the one that wanted her to move out first, I was the one that wanted the cat out of the house because he was attacking my cat. Every month went by the last year, and our fights started to get louder. We were breaking up with each other almost weekly. Fights were getting more aggressive, and shouting began to increase. I was not perfect, and I reflect on those situations poor taste to myself. I'm ashamed that the situations got so bad, but Emmy was also violent. She would throw clothes or plushies at me, and I punched holes in the walls or slammed doors in aggression.
Yeah, you see, he just admitted. So that's the thing, and this is an advice from the war chief. If you are in a relationship like this, leave. I know it's going to be very hard with the feelings, emotions, mental, or could be also the blackmails between it, or manipulation. Get out of there, you know. It's just gonna get worse. The thing is, he admitted it. So he just said it. We just heard it right now that he actually abused.
House and see holes in the wall. You see what I'm saying?
Also, the thing that I want to say, it starts with walls. You know what I mean? What I mean with it, it can and definitely will get worse. Eventually, it's not going to be the wall. It's eventually going to be probably the girl. You know what I mean? So be careful in those situations. Leave distance 100%.
One time did say I was going to kill myself during an argument, but Emmy did this as well numerous times. She would constantly say she's going to kill herself in arguments, and I have a picture where while I had a gun pointed at one of her stalkers who came to my house while she was in Kansas, she told me she was going to kill herself out of aggression of the situation while it was happening. This is the situation. I told her that a stalker's at the house. I'm freaking out.
Somebody says,
I'm freaking out.
and I want to address this claim because it's been a question that a lot of people have really brought up, and I want to talk about this just for a couple of minutes. Can streamers keep their relationships between them private? Stop being such sensual or monetizing everything, be Paragon's version. And by calling out a public figure, me to be completely...
want to show this, she was also using the I want to kill myself a lot in our situation and relationship. This is while I had a gun pointed at one of her stalkers. This stalker who was at my house, his background picture was Emiru, and when he talked to the cops, he was in love with her.
It seems that she had also a bit issues. The thing is also that a lot of people do not know, and you should be careful with it to every streamer, small or big. Try to be nice as possible, because a streamer could actually be in a depression, or in my case I'm using like medication. You have other ones maybe worse, and you don't know. So you could say a few words that maybe it's painful, or maybe could go wrong, and you can see it over in this situation a stalker that actually really freaked her out. That the person is actually even thinking, I literally want to kill myself. I can't take this anymore. I feel so alone and like a problem. So you can see
thought that she was talking
dangerous.
to him. It is disgusting, terrifying for the situation in general. I knew that the relationship wasn't healthy at this point. I knew we had to end it, and soon. One day, Emmy posted a very provocative picture, one that she knew I would hate, and she posted it to make me upset. She admitted that we should see what we want, and Emmy had an idea to write down everything we wanted on paper. I'm going to let everyone know that what I'm about to say is very true. This is exactly what happened, and she cannot argue this. One day, after staying over Emiru's house, Emiru made me breakfast, and she wrote down everything she wanted. She wrote she wants me to move closer to her. She wrote that she wants me to marry her. And she wants...
Obviously.
...kids with me in the next 5 years. And I just looked at this letter that I was staring in front of me, and I just handed her back the paper. She began to cry, and I told her, I'm sorry, I just can't do this anymore. I knew we were just beyond the point of toxicity in the relationship, that our trust had completely...
This is, keep in mind, in the context of before that he sends her all of these messages and all of this stuff, trying to get her back.
He died, and that we had so many issues that I couldn't deal with.
That's actually when they were good with each other. I think that's when it just started to begin with the chaos.
And I was not mentally well. I walked away. I went to her door, and as I opened it, the last words I ever heard her say is, "Don't go. I love you." That week, I made flights to Japan because I didn't want to sit around and wait to possibly get back together again. I have never talked to her in person since. I have messaged her numerous times wondering why I have been removed from OTK, Discords, and I was very scared because I didn't know what was going on. Nobody was talking to me or contacting me, and I have had so much regret.
It was another reason. But I will, and there
nor lingering around her. The house is about 2,000 square feet with about 50 people there. I, of course, was near her, but I was never following her. This year has been very hard for me, and I'm sure for her. I even went to Japan and drank every single night just to sleep. Going from being with each other for 3 years straight and trauma bonding to be completely alone is such a difficult thing for both of us. I began therapy in February of this year with EMDR therapy, something she recommended me when we were dating.
She has some points, man.
I'm very happy to say that I feel better than ever, and I've gotten a lot of the stress I've had.
Surely. If you got all the stress that you had and everything, then why were you just at TwitchCon threatening her employees that you would destroy Emiru if she came out with anything about you? If you've really changed as a person, then why have you, within the last week, been doing the exact same thing that...
That's a good point. There's a good point what Asmongold is saying over there.
Or why Miz was removed from OTK. If they don't want to...
Therapy and work on
it was if she releases this stuff, he just...
over the years of 2 relationships now online, that I'm a horrible boyfriend and I have a lot to work on for myself. I've been single for the past 10 months, and I plan to stay that way. I'm continuing to go to therapy and work on my...
if she releases this stuff, he'd destroy...
The good thing, what we can say, the thing is he should have done it before the problems, before it all started, my opinion. I always say it, when you see a problem, uh, uh, try to fix the problem immediately or avoid it immediately before it gets worse, the one thing, he's still in the bad way, in the bad side, because he abused, throwing stuff, you can name it. He just admitted all. We all heard it together. The good thing, what I could say for himself, of course, is that he, from himself, admits from, okay, I'm going to stay alone. He's now 10 months alone. And also that he takes actually therapy, that he actually also gets help for himself. I always say it, toxic and yelling and all that stuff in a relationship, it's all going downhill. There's always work together, be nice together, you know what I mean? And I'm not going to say there's no discussions, there will be always upside and upside down in relationship, everyone. But it's best to talk to each other, to try to understand each other, and not really going with the yelling and throwing stuff and breaking stuff. It just make it worse and worse, and eventually, boom, now you are in the media right now, where ten of thousands people that actually see this, but yeah, and like I said, to be honest, also from Emiru, we all know she's a nice girl, friendly. Like I said, how she talks, also you can see it very mental abuse, because you can hear it on her talking with breathing in and breathing out. And like you say, this person cannot hurt a fly. You know what I mean? If you look to her size, to his size, you know what I mean? But eventually, yeah, is it sad that this happened? Of course, you know what I mean? Let's just hope. And it's a good thing actually from Emiru that she posted it into the media, because it could help more than thousands of people that are in this situation, but still are in that situation, and have not really the courage, or are still scared to move out of that bad relationship, or chaotic relationship, or toxic relationship. That supports actually for a lot of people. In that case, it's of course a sad thing, what's going on over here, but yeah. So that was it for today, War Chief Club members, and I will see you